Jessie, and today we are going to be talking about my slightly late July TBR. So, June was like a ridiculously crazy month. I read so much, way more than normal, and apparently I'm being super ambitious for the month of July because I have a bunch I want to get to, and, probably not going to get to all of it. This is the pile of possibility, as my TBR always is, but there's a few that I'm like, okay, I'm definitely getting to this. Definitely getting to that. Like, there's some arcs I have to get to. So we're just going to start going through all of these books that hopefully I'm going to be trying to read in the month of July. So we're going to start out with the arcs that I'm going to try to read from NetGalley. The first one is This Poison Heart. And I actually already finished this one. It was really good. You'll see more about that later. But I did already finish this one, so I figured I'd go ahead and mention it. I am also going to be reading What We Devour, and this one sounded really interesting. I've actually, like I said, I have the arc of it. I have started it. Like, I'm only like 10% in. So far, so good. It's about this girl who has these like hidden powers, and she's just kind of like living in this backwoods town, about to get married, and then like all of a sudden the like royal guard comes through to kind of unjustly arrest her fiance's father, and she kind of gives herself up to protect him and use like her powers. And basically in this world, people that have the powers are bound to the crown, and they like have to like serve them. So she's like, I will, come with you willingly, but you're not gonna bind me. So we'll see how that goes. So far, so good. Not very far into it. And then the other arc I want to get to is 6 Crimson Cranes. And this is another NetGalley that I have. You're going to see a trend here. But this is a fantasy book. I believe it's set in the same world as Spin the Dawn. But I could be wrong. I know I've not read Spin the Dawn, but I'm going to read this first. I don't think you have to read Spin the Dawn, hopefully. I don't think so. I think it's just set like in the same universe. So I'll hopefully read that next. But I digress. This is basically, this girl is like I think she's supposed to be getting married, and then again, like her forbidden magic rears its ugly head, and her stepmother curses her brothers and turns them all into cranes, and she can't speak because any words the girl speaks, one of the brothers will die. So she's like trying to save her brothers without using words, and like it sounds really, really cool, and the cover is really, really pretty. The last arc that I'm trying to get to is Mother of All. This is the third book in the Women's War saga. I just finished book 2. I really loved book 1. Book 2 I had some issues with, so I'm really excited to see what happens in book 3. See, like, do I like how it ends? Like, am I happy with it? Am I upset with it? And then once I read that one, I'm going to do like a full series discussion because I don't think this series is talked about enough. It definitely has some glaring issues, especially in book 2, but I'm hoping that those are kind of cleared up in book 3. So I'm really excited. Now we're going to get into some more of the like physical books that I own that I'm going to try to read. Like, we'll see. We'll see how far I get because that's a lot of arcs. A lot. I'm being really ambitious this month, apparently. The first one is going to be my Patreon book pick, and that is Blaze Wrath Games. Y'all, my friend Jessie May sent this to me for Christmas, and I am excited to get to it. It's like a competition with dragons. Like, I've heard it compared to like Pokemon-esque with dragons, and I'm here for it. So if you want to join along and read this with us, all the information about my Patreon is linked down below. I have really cheap tier options and some cool stuff, and we have a good time, we do some lives, we have like our little Discord, you can join the Discord. So if you want to join and read Blaze Wrath Games with us, I would love for you to join us because I haven't heard very many people talk about this, so I'm excited to get to it and see what it's all about. I also plan to finish $10,000 of January. I'm almost done with it. This is like a rollover from a previous month. I just never finished it. I think it was May I started reading this. Didn't finish it, and then I normally would have just like finished it in June, but with the readathon going on, I just wanted all of my readathon books, so I put off finishing this, but we will be finishing it. I'm also going to try to finish Winds of Strife by Yuji Goodman. This is another one that I like started in May and just didn't finish, and then rolled over to the games, like the Olympic Games for the readathon, and I just didn't fit it in my prompts. So that's another rollover that I'm going to try to get to. I told y'all this is super, super ambitious. Lots of books on this. But that is like a adult fantasy, really grim, dark. It is self-published, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got like emotion magic. So like all the magic is tied to emotions, and I love that. It's a really, really cool, interesting magic system, and every single character is pretty morally gray and despicable, and I love it. So we're going to get there. We're going to finish it. Next up, I am going to be moving into a reread of the Yeehaw era of Mistborn. So Mistborn era 2, and I'm reading this with the Cosmere Crab Along. So if you want to join us, I will link that Discord. But I'm going to be reading Alloy of Law and Shadows of Self. These are books 1 and 2. As you can see, especially compared to any other, like, Sanderson book, they're ridiculously short. Like, reading the two of these together is less than reading Era 1 Mistborn book. So, I'm excited. I liked these when I first read them, so I'm excited to reread these. Then we're going to do like a live show, and then we're going to move on to book 3, which I have not read. So this will be me kind of catching up, getting back up to pace with these books, and starting book 3 next month. So very excited to get back into the Yeehaw era. If you've read Era 1 of Mistborn, don't expect it to be anything like Era 1. This is not. This is more like fun and fast paced and like lighter stakes. And it's funny. It's not Era 1. And that's, I think, what most people get, like, upset about. They're like, oh, it's so different. But, yeah, it's super different. It's, like, very Wild West kind of steampunk. And it's got a lot of, like, really familiar elements from the first series, though. Like, and I love it. So, I might be in the minority, but I really like the Yeehaw era of Mistborn. If that wasn't enough, I have 3 sequels that I'm trying to get to this month, too. So, we're going to see. I'm making no promises about these last 3 books, but I want to get to them because they're sequels to books series I've started and really, really enjoyed. So, first up, I want to try to get to Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book in the Daevabad trilogy. The book 1 is City of Brass. You can watch my, like, booking and cooking, reading and recipes video if you want. I can, like, link that up above. But that was so much fun. I really liked it. It was like a really cool, like Aladdin-esque inspired story. And I'm really excited to see what happens after the end of it. And I have it, so I want to read it. I will also be trying to get to A Torch Against the Night, which is book 2 in the Ember in the Ashes series. I loved book 1. I read it last month, actually, for the readathon, and it was our Patreon book pick. And now I'm continuing on with book 2 because it was so good. And my good friend Sharon sent me all 3 of the final books. So she sent me 2, 3, and 4 in this series so I can finish it up. So of course I want to just like jump on it because I loved the first one. It's just like a really cool YA fantasy, fast paced. I'm excited to see what happens next. So definitely gonna get to this one. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. Y'all know me. And then the final book I want to try to get to, like this one's kind of at the lowest end of the maybe pile, but that is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. It's the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. Book 1 is Cinder. I read Cinder like last year and never continued on. I have all the books though. Like I have the whole series. I need to just get to it. They read really fast. Like Marissa Meyer's books like read so quick. You can read them in like a day or 2. So I'm excited to get to this, see what happens. I know we're following different characters in this book, but like it matches up with the rest of the series, so we'll see. All right, that is it. That is my TBR for the month of July. Let me know what you think of any of these books. If you think I should prioritize some of them, what I should get to first. Let me know if you plan on joining in on any of the read-alongs with me. If you plan on reading Mistborn Era 2, if you want to read Blaze Wrath Games, like if you want to buddy read any of these, let me know. Oh, speaking of buddy reads, I am also buddy reading Cemetery Boys with my friend Tara over at Phaser Red. I will link her channel too. I didn't mean to, there's so many. My brain is going a million miles an hour today. I'm also reading Cemetery Boys. So I have like the Kindle copy of that. So I'll be getting to that one. I'm really excited to read that book because I read Lost in the Neverwoods earlier this year and I didn't love it. I liked the way it was written. Like I liked what you could tell was like the writer's voice, but I didn't like the story. So I'm excited to read something else by Aiden Thomas and see if I like that more. So definitely checking out Cemetery Boys. And that is all the books. Now I'm done because that is all the books that I'm going to be reading. So if you want to join in, let me know. Let me know what you think I should prioritize, read first. Obviously, buddy reads and stuff like that go to the top of the pile. The Patreon book pit goes to the top of the pile. So let me know if you want to join me and read some of these, or if you have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name is Jessie, and I will see you next time. Bye.